Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I am behind schedule on this Sunday, but I always get it done. We've got a 303 XRP price, market's at about 3.97 trillion. Kind of boring today, but that's okay. I'm fine with boring. This is not boring. Brad Garlinghouse, David Booth. I'm not sure who David Booth is, but they're funding Kansas football. There's Brad Garlinghouse. He's alive and well. He disappeared from social media for a while, but just recently popped back up. I'm sure he's busy having a good time. Post XRP lawsuit. It's funny listening to these guys that they know it's not Bitcoin, but they don't want to upset the Bitcoin children out there. Here's a great clip.
Question I have is not a criticism, and I think it's a question that even serious Bitcoiners have to consider, and gold investors have to consider too, with Bitcoin in particular, because it is a much safer, less censorable technology. And it doesn't, we got to get into the origins of it or what that means, or Ripple and XRP highways and all these other debates, and Glenn Lilly and Jeff Mann and BTC, is it Langley or Satoshi? Get past all that. Is it a store of value? Will it work in a system where the dollar doesn't disappear or become eradicated, it becomes less and less relevant, less and less safe, and less private? So will Bitcoin be a solution? The simple answer is, and will it be a part of this new world order, disorder, whatever reset to come? Without saying the Bitcoin camp, it depends on your perspective. I can say I see central banks stacking physical gold more than Bitcoin. I can argue that gold has an historical larger role as a store of value than Bitcoin. But certainly Bitcoin in a cold wallet is a heck of a lot easier to transfer. It's cross-border, it's safer, it's more private, etc. So I don't want to say that, when gold rips, Bitcoin disappears and it's going to go to zero.
There you have it. He knows. This is an interesting clip that I found from Charles Hoskinson recently. Listen to what he says. He's talking about going to the SALT conference.
And it was a great round table. Sergey Nazarov was there, Anatoly from Solana. We got Ilya from Mir and Brad from XRP.
What's interesting to me is Brad Garlinghouse was obviously at the SALT conference but didn't speak. He let Stuart Alderati speak instead. I find that interesting.
Some nice people, man. And it was good to see some old friends, some new friends, and make some deals here and there. Everything's coming along. Midnight's coming along really well. Cardano's coming along really well. We're pushing forward. As redemptions are looking strong, over 70,000, give or take, about 1.6 billion worth of tokens so far redeemed. And we just keep pushing forward. 60 days plus the scavenger hunt plus remorseful redemption pool. It's a really nice layered way of distributing a token and getting a lot of other ecosystems involved. In fact, I had a great conversation with Brad about XRP, and it'd be a lot of fun to do something there. So Lace is going to support XRP before the end of the year. I'd love to do a joint event with some of the people on that side of the aisle and see if we can get John Deaton there, a few others. But overall, kind of pushing forward. And it's a broad.
Sounds like maybe we need to get Charles Hoskinson to come to XRP Las Vegas.
Ecosystem, 8 ecosystems, 7 blockchains, Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana and XRP and Avalanche, BNB. Go down the list. It's a lot of good people. And it's going to be one of the largest, if not the largest, airdrops of all time. So I had lunch today with JJ, and I said, we needed a dedicated Near team, a dedicated XRP team. We need a dedicated team for Brave, of people that are account managers that do nothing but talk about the long arc commercial.
Now, I'm going to tell you something in the group today that it probably won't shock you, but I spoke to someone this past week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, somebody who would know. I'm going to tell you something very interesting that will surprise you about what has really gone on over the last 10 years in social media as far as all these different cryptos. I've told you 1,000 times that most of this was PR machine driven, and a lot of it's fake. Probably 95% of it's fake, but it'll shock you what the real communities in crypto are. Okay. Well, John Deaton said it'd be an honor and pleasure to be present, working together with Charles Hoskinson and other leaders within the crypto ecosystem. And then, of course, we've got Mark Yusko. He keeps running his mouth about XRP, so I keep featuring him. And the reason I keep featuring him is because this is not a dumb guy, which means that he's intentionally throwing out all this shade on XRP. This guy does not have a lack of understanding. Remember, this is the same guy who said that he's been hearing rumors that XRP would be the banking layer for the United States. So how do you go from there to this?
I mean, the value would go down. So the whole idea of market cap has always been flawed to me, but you gotta do some calculation to come up with some number. But my point there is that there's a whole bunch of relics, stuff like Dogecoin and Shiba that
Bitcoin's the ultimate relic.
I even put XRP in here and people get mad at me when I say that.
It's just so provocative, Mark. It's hard not to mention it.
I know, but there's no, to me, what it
you guys can actually get views for once. Real views.
means is, and Cardano's another one, there's no there. And so you've got this gigantic amount that's locked up by the foundation or the founders, and then you've got this small amount, like take XRP, quote unquote, has a $200 billion market cap. In theory, that's a lot. It's a lot of money. Third largest digital asset, but it only trades 1 to 2 billion a day. Not that that's not nothing, but it's the same few thousand trading over and over and over again, and it's probably hundreds of thousands. But it's just not. It's not like if suddenly the foundation wanted to sell, the price would vanish.
What about the disguised Ethereum whales? What about Satoshi? What would happen if they decided to sell?
And the price is still the same of that asset as it was in 2017. It's a crazy thought.
That's really an important point. What are you more comfortable with? A responsible company like Ripple, who's been a, quote, steward of the XRP escrow, who's showing you what's there, or these secretive whales from Ethereum, the ICO that they hid, and this supposedly secret Satoshi? Where would you rather place your bets? I know where I'd put mine. That's enough of that. This guy just does the same thing over and over. These guys get it.
What are the people who are coming in now to crypto wanting to buy? And I do think ETH is just, it will keep going because of this. That's the main thing that people are looking at. I think Bitcoin will probably keep going too. I've seen obviously XRP gets mentioned. Link, I bought Link over the last few weeks as like a more of a normie, let's say, or like outside of crypto play. I think people are buying, but I'm definitely going to pay attention to more to that. Let me put it that way. It does feel as though people who are now peripherally looking at crypto, those are the things that are going to drive. I don't think they're going to come in and buy any meme coin.
All right, and then look at this. This bull market does not end with 82% of those surveyed by Morgan Stanley saying they don't own cryptocurrency. I find this figure hard to believe. 82% in 2025. I do not hold any cryptocurrencies. Folks, you're staring directly at your opportunity right here. I mean, this couldn't be more obvious. Look at this guy. I'm new to XRP. Tell me why XRP is so great by dropping a comment below. Matt Hamilton hits a grand slam by saying, it just works. Seriously, try sending transactions on Ethereum or Bitcoin and compare the difference. In 2014, this is what I experienced. I mean, I didn't understand. I was like, why is it all Bitcoin talk? Why do you have to buy Bitcoin to go into these other things? Once you get it into XRP, everything works fast. I'm sitting here holding this Bitcoin I would try to send it, and I'm waiting on these confirmations, and I'm like, what is a confirmation? Why am I having to wait? I remember being nervous about whether it was going to arrive or not. Never made any sense. Still doesn't make any sense. And then this is one of the Ethereum guys from the Clueless podcast. ETH is a store of value asset with a real rate of return, nothing else like it. I said, well, with an unlimited supply and the largest whales disguised at the ICO, it's a lot like fiat with the secrecy of the Fed. That's what it reminds me of. And Tom Lee, of course, he's part of the Ethereum PR machine. They're the Bitcoin Ethereum PR machine. And I said, Tom, Ripple?
Michael Saylor is changing.
I think Michael Saylor's a patsy. That's what I think he is.
The reality of the stock market. And the reason is that he probably will end up being the largest, potentially the largest company in the stock market. Okay? Especially if Bitcoin goes to 1 million. Yet he doesn't generate GAAP net income to justify it. He's based solely on the value of his balance sheet. And but that's not new to history, because when I graduated college, the biggest stock in the S&P, a top 5 name was ExxonMobil. And it was top 5 for 28 years, 30 years, like an entire generation. Graduated, worked on Wall Street. A top 5 name was a company that was only valued on the value of its oil, not on its net income. So like MicroStrategy is like replacing Exxon in lore, because, you know, for a whole generation, people said Exxon was the biggest company, but you don't value it on earnings. Well, MicroStrategy could be one of the biggest companies in the world, and it's valued on its Bitcoin.
Wow.
Ripple. Say it again, Ripple. It's not MicroStrategy. Okay, we're going to go in DAIXRP.com, the Patreon. If you'd rather join through YouTube, you can click join below any of these videos. You can also hit subscribe on X if you'd rather join through there. Today, I'm going to tell you what I heard from I won't call it an inside source, but it's somebody big in crypto. I'm not going to say who, but I'll tell you an interesting little project that they did on crypto social media. The communities that are real it might shock you, because all you're told is Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and maybe a couple others. That's all you hear on CNBC. It's all you hear. 95% of crypto. Most of it's not real. And you got to ask yourself the question, why? I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family, away we go.